Good evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us on DinamoTV. My name's Tonchi Prusats, and I'm your host for tonight. I'm a very sick host tonight. I'm battling the man flu. I think our Vice President, John Bilosh, had it last week, and I think he's passed it on to me. But we at Dinamo here, we're battlers. We don't give up, and the same can be said about our senior team. Things might not be going the best at the moment, but trust me, folks, there's some very, very exciting announcements to be made in the next 24 to 48 hours. As we speak, the transfer window shut at 5 p.m. today, and there's been some last-minute scampering, rushing, trying to get some deals done. Can I just say, over the next 24 to 48 hours, keep your eyes posted on the socials, our club socials, and we've got some major, major playing announcements to be made just in time for the pointy end of the NPL Victoria season. But we're going to start off on a very positive note right from the outset. We've got it's a fantastic bit of news awaited us overnight when one of our very own former junior at Dinamo, Anthony Didolica, was a member of the Australian under-17 team that won out at the ASEAN Games in Indonesia, the ASEAN Cup champions. Our very own Anthony did exceptionally well. He was the Golden Boot winner, scoring 6 goals in 4 games, including these 2 that you'll see just in the background now. An excellent performance by the Joeys, as they are called. Also, big shout out to another Croatian boy, Noah Slunski from Sydney, who is now at Hajduk Split. And Noah and Anthony were both in this squad, which brings me to an old saying that a colleague of mine from the Oz Crows soccer show, and one that's well known to most of you viewers, Josip Žilić, came up with the saying, Bez Hrvata nema zlata. In translated, that means without Croats, there is no gold. And that has been vindicated by the performance of the Joeys overnight. So well done to Anthony Didolica and to the Didolica family, who are an integral member of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club. Folks, what a show have we got lined up for you tonight. What a show. Apart from the usual news desks, we've got some exclusive footage of last Saturday night's Light Up Our Scoreboard Zabava. And to talk about the Light Up Our Scoreboard Zabava and the appeal to raise $40,000 for a brand new electronic scoreboard at Churchill Reserve. A little bit later on in the show, we'll be joined by committee member Ante Rozanic, who's fought all sorts of technological issues to be with us tonight. Ante is going to talk about that, how the actual Zabava went, and how the action to raise the money went. And also he'll be talking to us about how during the week in Federal Parliament, our dear club, St Albans Dinamo, was a topic of discussion. And that's thanks to Federal MP Daniel Molino, who had to rub it in about Italy beating Croatia. Well, technically they didn't, but they did at the Euro Championships in the greater scheme of things. Moving on, we've also got the man, the legend, STJEPAN GAL, joining us a little bit later on, and we'll explain to you when he comes on why he's such a legend. And a big cheerio to his lovely wife, Katarina, who's allowed STJEPAN to come on the show tonight when it is a very big occasion in the Gull household. A bit later on, he'll be talking about the Diamond League that kicked off earlier today. One of those venues, one of the 3 venues for the Diamond League, was in fact Churchill Reserve. And we had St Albans Dinamo teams from under 8s all the way up to under 13s taking part in the Diamond League. So STJEPAN will keep us posted how that all went. We've also got the dynamic duo from St Albans Vukovar, Martin Raspudic and ILIJA RADOS. I do get that wrong. It should be Martin Jutriša and ILIJA RADOS coming on the show. They are members of St Albans Vukovar, which is a member club of the Dinamo Football Group here at Churchill Reserve. And they'll be talking about how Vukovar are going, their own experiences with St Albans Vukovar. And ILIJA, being the assistant coach with the senior women's team who had a bye this weekend, he'll talk to us about, well, the differences and the similarities of coaching senior women as opposed to coaching senior Vukovarci. Stay tuned for that. All that plus a lot more coming on the show. And of course, we can't forget the popular From the Vault segment, which is going to be on the show a little bit later on as well. It's DinamoTV, and we're going to battle through this next hour as best we can.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and how could I forget in the intro the probably the main event, the most important thing about tonight's show. Stay to the end and watch the classic new composition by the one and only Anthony Smolic, to the tune of a famous Oliver Dragojevic song, and that is worth hanging around waiting for. That'll come on a little bit later on in the show. The actual premiere of the song was at the Light Up Our Scoreboard Zabava last Saturday, and dare I say it's probably one of his best compositions. So stay tuned for that, folks. And although not really related to St Albans Dinamo, and in fact not related to Dinamo, but breaking news from Croatia in the last 5-10 minutes, and I know there are a lot of Hajduk Split supporters at our club. Ivan Perisic has re-signed for the 2024-2025 season with Hajduk Split. So that's big news for all of you Hajdukovci amongst the Dinamovci. Let's move on to news. Well, look, there's not much to really talk about as far as the senior men's is concerned. That was the wrong one. There we go. The ladder isn't looking pretty, folks. But look, we've got 6 games to go, a total of 18 points. And as I've said, it's brewing. Some big announcements are brewing. So the rumour mill is going absolutely nuts at Churchill Reserve, and some of those rumours are true. Some of them might not be, but there has been some major movements as far as player acquisitions, and that will be confirmed over the next 24 to 48 hours. So do stay tuned to all of our social media posts, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the website itself. Okay, lots to be announced over the next 24 to 48 hours. In the meantime, Sunday, all roads lead to Churchill Reserve because it is a must-win game against Heidelberg. Game kicks off at 3 p.m. The under-23s are at 12:30. And speaking of the under-23s, geez, they've hit a real purple patch in this middle part of the season, defeating Manningham United 2-1. Jesse Chop doing extremely well, scoring a goal. Alexander Maglaris also scoring a goal. This week the boys are kicking. It's against. That should be Dinamo under-23s versus Heidelberg. Sorry, told you we were feeling a little bit sick here at DinamoTV. That game kicks off at 12 p.m. But the the young Dinamovci, are currently in 8th position, a very handy mid-table position. So big shout out to Adam Tuna Tenanini, the head coach, and his assistant Ian Berg, who are doing very well. And not only are they commanding a good position, a relatively good position, 8th on the ladder, but they've had, I think, something like 5 or 6 of their under-23 players at some time or another taste senior football, and that's what it's all about at that level. Our women, unfortunately, they were not in action last weekend. Geelong Rangers had to postpone, had to pull out. Apparently, they had 5 of their players out with COVID, it's believed, whether it's COVID or another flu, which seems to be going around. They certainly can't have what me and Johnny Bilosh had, and that was the man flu. But Geelong Rangers, that game will be replayed in the catch-up round, no doubt. The senior women had a week off, and this weekend coming is a catch-up round as well. So there'll be no games being played this week, although that game may be scheduled for sometime this weekend. We don't know just yet. Moving along to the Junior Boys NPL. Now, speaking to STJEPAN GAL, who's going to be joining us a little bit later on in the show. He's the juniors and the women's coordinator. Boy, are there some really exciting plans off the field being put into place as far as planning for next year. Folks, can I just say there's some really, really exciting times ahead, and we might touch on with STJEPAN a little bit later on about that, but it is in the very formative, the developmental stages. But let's just say if you're going to be playing JB NPL at St Albans Dinamo next year, you are in for an awesome, awesome experience. Now, moving to last weekend, the under-14s, they lost to Hume City 3-1. Luka Morvic scoring the only goal for the 14s. The 15s, they did very well and defeated the Ballarat City under-15s 3-1. Marko Mioc, Luka Kozul and Nicholas Lagozzo scoring the 3 goals. Well done to the under-16s, who also did very well. They defeated Pascoe Vale 4-2. Seb Camilleri, Daniel Reicher, Lucas Hanania, and Elijah Camilleri on the goal, scoring the goals for the 16s. And the under-18s travelled to Paisley Park, where they took on Altona Magic and came away with a 2-2 draw. Joshua Angelis and Jackson Knežević scoring for the Dinamovci. Now, in round 11 action this weekend, the under-14s have got a slightly later kickoff time against Heidelberg. That game again at Churchill Reserve kicks off at 11:45. We've got the under-15s at Dobson Reserve in the Croatian derby against the Melbourne Knights, also kicking off at 11:15. The under-16s hosting Hume City at 1:15. And then the under-18s travel to Costas Mitre 10 Park in Werribee, and their game kicks off at 1 p.m. All right, last week we had the last Saturday night. In fact, it was the St Albans light up our scoreboard Zabava, and it was a phenomenal night. 200 plus people turned up, and we're going to show you a little bit of a video footage of what happened on the night. Certainly, for those that were there, would have had an absolute fantastic time. For those that weren't there, make sure to come along to the next St Albans Dinamo function, because it is just a party of all parties. This is video footage taken by John Bilosh at last Saturday night's Zabava. There you go. That was some footage from last night's training session of the St Albans Vukovar Soccer Club. And St Albans Vukovar, as we know, are a proud member of the St Albans Dinamo Football Group. And to tell us a little bit more about our partner club, St Albans Vukovar, we're joined by two very, very illustrious members of St Albans Vukovar, ILIJA RADOS and Martin RASPUDIC. How are we, gents? How's things?
Good, Tonchi. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, very good, very good. Good to have you guys on DinamoTV for the first time. Martin, first of all, to you, how long have you been involved with St Albans Vukovar, and how did you first of all get involved?
Good question. I think probably going on about 15 or 16. Sorry, say again?
Can you remember back that far?
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with my memory these days. It's probably been about 15 or 16 odd years.
Yeah.
So I played with the Dinamo seniors alongside this handsome gentleman, ILIJA, for about 9 or 10 years in the Dinamo seniors, and then progressed, into my retirement, moving over to Vukovar. We probably started more as a social event, but anyone that's part of Vukovar very quickly realises that it becomes quite serious when you're on the park, and we're a very, very competitive group. So, yeah, probably say around that period.
Yeah, ILIJA, what about yourself? You're heavily involved in the club as it is, just with your coaching as well. But from a playing point of view with Vukovar, how did you get involved, first of all?
Yeah, very similar to Marty. Basically played with the Dinamo seniors for, 10 years. And I used to watch Vukovar before the Dinamo games, and had a few friends playing for Vukovar, and they had a good reputation around the club. And basically, when I retired at the age of about 30 years old for Dinamo, had a year off and then started playing for Vukovar because I just felt that I didn't have enough soccer, and I was still young enough to have a bit of a kick, and not as serious. So yeah, really good place to have a social bit of a social kick, and still be competitive.
Now, am I right, gents, in saying that was about 16, 17 years ago?
Correct. Yep.
Oh, well done. Now, let's move to the present. Let's finish about talking about the history. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about the results on the weekend. A good win on the weekend. There we go. It was Rowville Eagles away from home, 7-4. Now, for those that aren't really aware of St Albans Vukovar and the amateur league, or it's the Bayside League, is that right? Tell us a little bit more about the league itself, where you're, because it is the Premier League, Open Age Premier League.
Yeah, so basically the league, it's not the Football Federation Victoria League, but it's basically like an independent league called the Bayside League, and it incorporates some of the amateur clubs around Victoria. And mainly, kind of, inner city and west and Bayside suburbs, where there might be clubs like Vukovar and sometimes clubs like Gorthbich Bears that are affiliated with other clubs that are higher up in the FFV divisions that do have a third team, and that they still have players that want to play, but they're not committed or not good enough to play for the regular first team at the club. So yeah, they kind of join the third amateur division, and they can still have a run and play, get involved in the game, and still be at the club.
Yeah. Now, Marty, both of you guys have played at the highest level. Both played for Dinamo Seniors. But Marty, in your opinion, where would you see the standard of, say, the Premier League, the amateur league Premier Division?
It's absolutely a solid standard. It's if you come to watch any of the Vukovar games, you'll pretty quickly see that there are a lot of ex Premier League players, or ex NPL as they call it now, players such as ILIJA, myself used to be part of the Victorian Premier League, obviously the highest level back then in Victoria. You still get those current players. We've got a Croatian affiliated club that plays in our league at the moment in Dandy Hajduk as well. We have some, really outstanding talent as well. But it's a highly competitive league. It's a high quality league. Yeah, there is a bit of reputation, us being a little bit of, piss heads and that sort of stuff on the side. But when we cross that white line, people take it absolutely serious. We're very, very competitive. The standard is extremely high.
Well, there we go. There's the competition standings, 8-team competition, and after round. Was it 9 rounds? Vukovar are third at the moment. But you mentioned Dandy City Hajduk's third team, if you like. It's there's a bye this weekend. Let's get that straight because it's a catch-up round. But then in 2 weeks' time, DC Hajduk or Dandy City Hajduk hosts you guys. Now, I assume there's going to be a lot of socialisation. Ilya, what do these Croatian derbies usually have? A lot of fireworks and on the field and off the field, a lot of socialising, is it?
Yeah, it's very much like that, Tonchi. Look, we've all got one thing in common, and that's the love for football and the love for the game, and being competitive. But we've also got the other part of the club and the team, and that's basically the social aspect and getting involved and mingling and having fun. But like Marty said before, as soon as we cross that white line, that all kind of goes out the window, and it's all about playing and winning and doing your best.
Yeah. Now, Marty, as we put the footage from last night as well, we'll pop that on again. But it's not a club at a club or a club within a club. St Albans Vukovar and the players there are very, very heavily involved in various aspects of St Albans Dinamo and kind of the wider community, the wider Croatian community. Is that something that you guys take pride in being involved in? Whether it's coaching, whether it's volunteering, whether it's something else.
Absolutely, Tonji. I'm glad you raised that point. Majority of the boys that you see in our team now, and today there was probably one shy of 20 blokes training. We get about 25, 26.
Yep.
Majority of those guys, either their parents or, brothers or whoever have been either through, as Ilya as myself have been through the Dinamo Seniors, and then moved on to Vukovar. Most of those guys either volunteer, have kids here. You know, I've got twin daughters that played their juniors throughout Dinamo and then moved to Strathmore, you know, a fellow Croatian club. My son's currently playing at the under-14 NPL level. Ilya, as you guys well know, coaches the senior girls. He's the assistant coach. Ilya's senior coach, Tommy Pondelyak, also has a kick with Vukovar and he's well known. We absolutely are closely affiliated to St Albans Saints. We love the club. We've always played here. We play our games here. We train here. Just finished the session tonight and having a few drinks with the guys. You might hear a bit of noise in the background.
Yeah.
Strongly affiliated with the club, Taunchy. Regularly, there's guys that will donate their time. You know, we share that experience with the Gorspic Bears, as you mentioned, with the Wednesday Nights boys. So there's a regular roster going around for all the home games where we might do the gates, you know, sometimes help out in the bar, the kitchen. The recent renos that I know you mentioned on this show, you know, a few weeks back, you know, were completed with the help of a lot of the Vukovar boys and in particular Steve Bolter and a few of those older crew original guys. So we're always around the club. I mean, we have a running joke. There's probably been certain times where we've basically ensured that Dinamo's revenue through the week has been pretty solid due to our you know, some of our drinking sessions after a training. So absolutely affiliated. We're highly close to this club. We love this club. We want this club to succeed. And, you know, if you look at our current age demographic, you know, we've got guys that are as young as 16 earlier, I believe. We've got, you know, Marko Modric and Thomas Jovica and even Steve's son, Ante Bolters, going on 17, 18. You know, and we've got some of the older blokes like Ilya and myself, and, you know, Ante Rosnic is one of the original two. He's still around always, and Steve Bolter and Paul Berkey, I had a chat today. They're the original Vukovar boys, you know, still closely affiliated. And even though I mentioned, you know, the revenue as a bit of a joke, you know, something that pops in mind right now, there's a gentleman that I'm sure most of the Croatians around Australia would be have had some sort of contact with, whether it's good or bad, and that's Mile Bulic. Now, he came up with an absolutely brilliant initiative a few years back called the Vukovar Bar. You know, most of the people that have been at this club would have seen the big plaque on the back of the wall there inside the bar when you're purchasing your drinks.
Yeah.
It's an honour to have your name up on that thing, and that generates revenue, not only the one-off, it generates revenue each year for the guys wanting to stay on that. So that's an absolutely awesome initiative that, you know, a fellow Vukovar through and through Vukovar member in Mile Bulic come up with. So we absolutely love the club. We support the club. We want this club to thrive. Not doing so well on the park, but, you know, we have absolute confidence that they will. They'll turn it around. You know, they've got some great coaches. I'm not sure if you're going to mention it on this show or not, but there's going to be some outstanding signings that are going to be announced as well. So we've got absolute faith that on the park they'll turn it around, and off the park the committee needs every credit. I tell you, they're absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. No, we'll just stay tuned for that. That's going to be popping up in the next couple of days. But Ilya, you are the player coach, and you're also, as Marty mentioned, you're also the assistant coach for the senior women's, and we know that very well. Doing a great job there, by the way, undefeated at the moment. Now, is it different coaching women and coaching the blokes from St Albans Vukovar, or do you sort of use the same coaching tactics at both when you're at the helm?
A loaded question, Ilya.
Yeah, I mean, it's
question, all right.
it's a good question, and basically, you know, it's still football, and at the end of the day, it's all about trying to get best out of our players and trying to win games. But it is a little different at the amateur level. In fact, it's very frustrating at times when you do play for a club like Dinamo, and then you kind of drop into an amateur division where you just got to be a little bit more realistic and understand that the players aren't as fit as the Dinamo players and the Dinamo girls. I often participate in the Dinamo girls training, and, you know, they're a lot sharper, to be fair. Whereas the Vukovar guys, you know, they're probably, you know, some of the boys are really skillful. They played at a high level, but, you know, coming down to amateurs and training once a week, you just kind of become not as sharp, and
Yep.
you know, the mind kind of isn't as good as it used to be for some of us as well. So,
although
but yeah,
speaking from experience, boys, you still think you're 21. You go out there, you think
well,
you're 21,
exactly.
you're double that plus a little bit more. Gents, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And, you know, you can definitely see just by chatting to you guys how much passion, how much commitment, how much connection there is with St Albans Vukovar and St Albans Dinamo, but and the wider community for that matter. It's great to see, and wishing you all the very best as St Albans Vukovar, but also around the club with everything that you're involved in, and especially you, Ilya. If the men can't do it, at least the girls at the moment are doing a great job. Keep it going, and
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, by the way, the transfer window has opened. Has anyone from the Vukovar players been poached by Cameron Watson to come?
That has happened in the past, don't you believe me, mate? It has, but not quite, not at our level now. No,
not quite. Let's maybe leave it like that. Hey, Ilya, you don't want to have some of your best players poached by the Dinamo seniors. All jokes aside, gents, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, there we go. That was the end of that. What a great interview that was. How good was that? Now, we've fulfilled Marty's and Ilya's request to dab into the vaults and find another bit of gold from the archives. Well, here's episode 8 of Dinamo TV's very, very popular From the Vaults. There you go. And whatever you do, please do not ring Susie Illich on that number and request a ticket for the Save Our Dinamo Gala Ball. That was in 2010, not in 2024. You have some great photos there, and certainly the ones of the team photos, late 1990s, early 2000s. I think Marty Jutrisha, Raspudic, he had a little bit more hair, would enjoy that one there. Before we go on to our next guest, and look, the numbers have just dropped dramatically after the two Vukovar boys have left the studio. But don't go away, folks. We've got lots to get through tonight. STJEPAN GAL will be joining us to talk about Diamond League Juniors competition. Ante Rosanic will also be talking about some of the club's meetings with some various politicians in recent weeks, and also the fallout from the Light Up Our Scoreboard Zabava last Saturday night as well. And certainly last but not least, the main event, Anthony Smolic's big latest cover song that you got to see to really, really believe. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Alrighty, let's move along now it's time now to announce the Senior Men's NPL Player of the Week winner. There was no senior women, so it's just the men. And in what was a rather forgettable performance, one performance certainly that really stood out was Joseph Cholina, who once again has taken out the Player of the Week award. Congratulations, Joseph. I think that's about 2 or 3 times that he's won it this year. So it's great to see some of the younger players really stepping up and doing exceptionally well. So well done to young Joseph Cholina. Folks, next up, STJEPAN GAL. He'll be talking about everything that happened at the Diamond League earlier today. And he'll be joining us straight after this very, very short commercial break. Folks, don't go away. It's DinamoTV. And Evolution Electrical are one of the major sponsors of our MiniRoos. And earlier today, the guys from Evolution Electrical kitted out our youngsters there with very, very special beanies, if you like, Evolution Electrical beanies. And boy, were they handy in this morning, I tell you what, with the cold weather that we were having. Now, speaking of the Diamond League, to tell us all about the Diamond League and what eventuated this morning, we've got STJEPAN GAL joining us. STJEPAN, good evening. How are you?
Tired, Tonch, but yeah, I'm been well. Just got back from Bentley Greens, so.
Yeah, we'll go on about that. But, mate, congratulations are in order. I believe it's your 15th wedding anniversary today.
Yeah, that's the one. So very lucky to be married for 15 years to my beautiful wife, Katerina Gal. So big shout out to her saying...
Can I just say we're very lucky.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, we're very lucky that Katarina has allowed you to spend a few minutes with us here on Dinamo tonight instead of having a nice candlelit dinner. Or maybe you're in the middle of a candlelit dinner and we're intruding.
Yeah, I think those days are past, I think.
Either way, congratulations, mate. Let's move on to the Diamond League. So, as we said, we'll bring that photo up again. What a fantastic act of great kindness it was from the Evolution Electrical guys. Those beanies came in very handy this morning. What was it, 1 degree or something like that when the action kicked off?
Yeah, it was pretty cold. I think we got to Dinamo this morning, Christian and myself and a couple others, and there was still sort of mraz or frost on the grass. So very icy this morning. And then thanks to Matt sort of giving the under 12s, the beanies. Which, I'm sure kept them warm and kept them or their heads warm at least.
Yeah.
And gave them a good sort of start to the day. And it was a good day. I was this morning at Dinamo from say 7:30 till probably 11, 12, and then headed up to Bentley where I coached. So myself and Andrew coached one of the under 11s teams. So it was a busy day. So
we'll go through the results and how they all fared after day one, but just a little bit about the Diamond League and how Dinamo has become involved with that. It's this year's competition is incredibly high quality. It's probably arguably one of the best quality competitions or tournaments that's held in Melbourne each year, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think from a mid-year sort of perspective and all the teams that sort of enter, I think, they've been doing this for now within Melbourne for the last probably 4 or 5 years, I think. So Pozza and Mitch Nichols and Adam Porrick, sorry, I should say, not Pozza, that's his nickname, but Adam Porrick and you've got Mitch Nichols and all the other guys that sort of assist and help. They've put on a really good show, and I think every year they just keep sort of getting better and better. The quality of teams entering as well. I think there's a couple of teams. There's a team, Football Tech, that's from New South Wales. Moreton Bay, I think, from Queensland. I think they are. You've got Goulburn Valley Suns as well that have come down. So it's a national national tournament really. You've got teams coming from everywhere, and it's been a good sort of good learning curve for teams within Victoria as well, to sort of see who and what teams are doing and what kids are like from interstate. I don't know if they like the weather, but it's nothing different. But it sort of exposes them to different elements.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Football Tech from Sydney, and I guess the Magic Group, which kind of started everything around our sister club, Gold Coast Knights, the Croatian community club up on the Gold Coast, and it sort of spread from there to nationally. But this is all part of a strategy at Dinamo with our junior setup to foster better relations with organisations around Australia that offer just high quality. Maybe we could even say the highest of quality. Tournaments and coaching, and we saw the Football Tech clinic that was such a big success at the last school holidays. I mean, this all of this work. There's a lot of planning behind the scenes, a lot of strategy work behind the scenes, and you've got a whole committee behind you, driving the club, the juniors, in a really exciting direction, aren't you?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a big shout out to sort of everyone within the committee and sort of putting the time and the effort, and I always say the volunteers as well, sort of putting in the time and effort and sort of helping out in and around the club. But yeah, of course, sort of putting yourself, and putting sort of Dinamo out there with the likes of sort of Football Tech, and we've got Nico there this year, sort of as well with MVP doing his stuff, and being able to host Diamond League, sort of put Dinamo in front of parents, sort of to see who and what we are and what we're about, and sort of start changing and start having people sort of see what we are as a club and as a community, and and sort of move towards looking at putting together a bit of a better development structure. But I think that will be something that will come with time. But I think we're sort of moving in the right direction, and hopefully one day we'll get there, and we'll see a lot more young kids sort of proceeding from our MiniRoos and JNPLs into our first team. But yeah, like you said, it's fantastic to be sort of being able to work with people like that, and people that have produced some good players over the time, and you get a lot of knowledge from these people, and you learn a lot. And
Now, before we talk about the performances of the Dinamo teams today, something that I learnt about you, speaking to you off air today, was you had a short stint for 3 months playing in Croatia back in your younger days. And from your own personal experiences of playing, on the other side of the world, what was the thing that really struck you as being completely different to what it is here, and what some of our talented youngsters need to bear in mind when, as they're sort of looking at, making something out of their football?
Look, I think the biggest thing that I saw is, one, they're there for the football. That's one thing. They understand as soon as they come into that dressing room, it's a very sacred place, and so it should be. There's not a lot of involvement from parents, from that perspective. It's just drop your kid off, sort of, the kids do their training. I know it's probably a completely different environment over there. I used to catch a tram at 12 or 13 years old and go training by myself and all that sort of stuff. So it's completely different here, which is fine. It's logistically.
But I mean, that's what kids are up against. Kids dream of 12, 13, 14 one day being professional footballer, playing on the other side of the world or in the A-League, and this is what they're up against. They're up against other kids that are just desperate. There's no plan.
I think so. Look, and I think one thing is there's 12, 13, 14, whatever 15-year-olds. They all want the same thing. Every kid has that dream and wants to and get to that dream, which is excellent, which is fantastic. And all the kids out there, they should always hold on to that dream and work hard towards that dream, because it is possible. It's just a matter of how much these little ones want to do it from that perspective.
A lot of it's talent, a lot of it's in the mental side of things, just how much they want it.
Correct. So look, and I think there's a lot of little 1%ers, and I was talking to you before. It's simple things as when the coach walks in the room, all the kids stand up, greet the coach. There's a bit of that respect and understanding. I think that sort of lacks, I think, across the board within a lot of clubs around Australia. There's, but look, you slowly start changing things and you start sort of trying to improve things and start improving those,
Yeah, excellent, mate. We could talk for hours, and I'm sure we will one day. But let's get to business. How did the Dinamo teams go in today's Diamond League Day 1?
Yeah, look, I think the teams all competed well and done very well. I think majority of our teams ended up in the second tier over the course of today. I think the 13s finished in the top tier, so that, congratulations to them.
Well done.
So, they'll be playing, I think, the likes of Melbourne Victory and a few of those academy teams,
Wow.
Which, I think there's a couple of our Dinamo boys playing in a Melbourne Victory team. So
Wow.
against some of our own Dinamo boys. So it'll be very interesting to see sort of how that pans out and how they go from that perspective. So, look, it's good for them. It's good for the under 13 boys. I'm really, really happy for them for them to get to that top tier, because they have been working hard over the last 4 months or 5 months. Frank's done an excellent job along with Dane Movs and Casa as well. So well done to them, and hopefully they can beat a few of our boys that have jumped to the other side to play with Melbourne Victory.
But imagine the experience just playing against that level in that pre-NPL. Like, it augurs well for next year's intake of JB NPL under 14 players, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, you always want to challenge yourself against the best. And, I look at today at Bentley Greens and where my boys played, because I was there, and I was, speaking to the under 10s coach as well, Marko Kuna, and his assistant Tomo Matkovic. And they go, look, the boys played really well. They just were unlucky. We just couldn't score, and they finished sort of second or third in their group, and no different to sort of my team. They played really well, but they're just really, really unlucky. But the football was there, and you've got. Which to me is probably the biggest thing. The coach is coming up to you after the game and saying, wow, you guys really played unbelievable, and the way you play is really, really good, and stick to it. So
that's fantastic.
So that's what you want to hear, and that's what we're about. I mean, we all love to win. I'm not saying I don't like to win, and the kids don't like to win, but I think you just got to go about it the right way and give that education to the young kids and provide them with sort of the right understanding and basics of how to play football. And, hopefully one day we can see a couple of them playing on the senior team, and maybe even bigger one day. Yeah,
absolutely. Mate, looks like another big day ahead of you tomorrow, but not before you spend a bit of time with the wifey tonight on your anniversary. Congratulations once again. And well done, Stepan, for all the work that you're doing. And, big day ahead for you tomorrow. So I wish you all the best with that.
No, I appreciate it. Always, Tonch. Great talking, and have a good night.
Good on you.
Westar Prestige is a family-owned second-generation business which is celebrating 50 years of operations this year. They're a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. However, they service all regions in the state, with many of their clients travelling from far and wide to use their services. They're also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend their premises. They're an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facilities for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of their ongoing affiliation with these brands. They also work closely with a number of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust them to be part of their preferred repairer network. Their support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing Australian-owned business.
There we go. Just prior to the break, we had a chat with STJEPAN GAL, who's the Juniors and MiniRoos coordinator. and we talked about the Diamond League. We've actually got a little bit of footage from today's games. And what must be said about this Diamond League is that there are a lot of, as Stepan put it, academy clubs. So we're talking Melbourne Victory, Western United. Not sure about Melbourne City, but there are also some clubs from the eastern suburbs of Melbourne who've got some very, very good setups. And then and there's also academy setups as well, private academies, DF football, SPF football, I think it's called, as well as some of those interstate teams, Moreton Bay Excelsior, which is from Queensland, Football Tech, renowned as one of the best number one junior academies, youth academies run in Australia, run by the Trafiro brothers. And we had, when they had their clinic during the school holidays at Churchill Reserve, which is an outstanding success. We had some of the football tech coaches on our show, so in days gone by. So yeah, there was just some of the action today. Well done to all of those kiddies and to their parents coming out in such absolutely freezing conditions. They did very, very well. During the week, what was it, last Sunday week, so 2 weekends ago, we were blessed by the visit of a federal politician, Daniel Molino, who is of Italian background. And in Parliament earlier this week, he addressed federal Parliament and brought up Dinamo and our predicament with regards to our facilities, our training facilities, or lack or not enough of. And this is what Daniel Molino had to say in federal Parliament during the week.
Speaker, I visited the St Albans Dinamo Football Club last weekend. This is a club with a long and storied history, having produced many A-League players and indeed Socceroos. The club is approaching its 50th anniversary, representing the achievements of one of the most prominent post-war migrant communities in my electorate. One of the topics that came up during our conversation was the upcoming game between Croatia and Italy. Can I begin my contribution by offering my condolences on the result, a 98th minute miracle for Italy. But the other topic of our conversation was what I wanted to raise today, not a commiseration, but a congratulations. St Albans Dynamo is an incredibly successful club with over 30 teams, or in other words, hundreds of players, many of which are juniors teams, many of which are girls and women's teams. The club is giving young people in the area a positive outlet, an opportunity to experience camaraderie, to learn teamwork and to celebrate their culture. But this success can be a double-edged sword. The large number of players is putting pressure on their access to pitches. Their pitches are currently full and indeed often overused. It is putting a strain on change rooms, particularly for women and girls, a phenomenon experienced by so many football clubs in my electorate, and it has created a need for refurbishment of their facilities. I want to congratulate the club on all that it has done over recent years to boost its membership, particularly for women and young people, and to commit myself to working with them as they build on their achievements to give access to sport and a sense of community to ever greater numbers of young people.
There we have it. And to talk about Daniel Molino's visit to Churchill Reserve and also the fallout from the, I keep saying save our scoreboard. It's not save our scoreboard, it's light up our scoreboard. Zabava last Saturday night, a member of the committee, one of the hardest working members of the committee. Well, they're all hard working, but Ante Rozanic in particular deals a lot with the politicians, and I guess you've got to be pretty diplomatic when you're dealing with them. Ante, it's great to have you on the show. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks, Tonchi, for having me tonight. Yeah.
Daniel, all jokes aside, Daniel Molino, big thing, coming to Churchill Reserve at the last home game and bringing up St Albans Dinamo in federal Parliament. How good is that? Now, I guess, tell us a bit about the meeting with Daniel last week, and we'll forgive him for his little jibe about Croatia for losing to Italy. Well, we didn't lose, but in the greater scheme of things, I guess we did.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was actually fantastic for Daniel to make time to come to our club and see what we're all about. And we basically went through what we needed, but the actual meeting was actually organised by Natalie Suleiman. So we've been working with Natalie for a few years now, and we tried to catch up with her and go through our plans and proposals and, expansion of our facilities. So it was basically Natalie that teed up the meeting with Daniel. So just want to say thank you very much to Natalie for organising it and getting Daniel to our club.
Yeah, thanks to Natalie and thanks to Daniel for those comments in federal parliament, bringing it to the attention of the politicians that run this country in Canberra. Well done to him. Now, mate, on the weekend we had the light up our scoreboard Zabava. Earlier tonight we saw some footage. It just seemed like a really good event. But the target, when all is said and done, the target was to raise $40,000 for the scoreboard, the new electronic scoreboard. Tell us, how did that go, and what's the next step?
No, the club set a target of 40,000, like what you said. They organised the Zabava, and at the end of the night, we ended up raising 42,000. Which was a fantastic effort from everyone involved and everyone who attended that night. The night was fantastic, yeah, with Smolic emceeing to the band Major Minor, and it was a fantastic night, and it was great to see people donating and giving something back to the club.
Now, speaking of Smolic, Ante Smolic, the great MC that he was, his song, which was premiered on the night, and it was a long time in the making, I'm told by the great man himself, that is going to be aired after this interview. So do hang around, folks. You want to hang around. If nothing else, you want to hang around for that. But $2,000 extra. Wow, that's fantastic, mate. What will we end up doing with those $2,000? Maybe putting neon lights or something around. Disco, mate. You can have an outdoor disco.
I'm sure that will all be chewed up in the scoreboard development. But we've received. I'm pretty sure that the clubs all actually bought the scoreboard, so it's being purchased now. It's getting built. I've got all the drawings, all the engineering for it. At the moment, all that is with council. So as soon as I get the stamp of approval from council, we'll be ready to start doing the civil works with the footings and the cabling and electrical works that are required before the actual scoreboard gets installed.
So more than likely, we'll see the scoreboard in time for next season. Will it be ready in time for the tournament?
Well, fingers crossed. Our aim is before tournament. So if all goes well, it will be up and running for the Croatian tournament.
Now, I'm told it's very similar to the one at Heidelberg. So dare I say, I guess, like how at Liverpool they have the "You'll Never Walk Alone" and they have the words on there like karaoke. We might be able to have the Dinamo Ja Volim song words to that, and the whole crowd will be able to sing like a karaoke before the games. But that's what these electronic scoreboards, they're unbelievable. They are unbelievable. It's going to give a whole new viewing pleasure to match day experiences, won't it, Ante?
It will. It'll change, the perspective of the facility. It'll just make it a lot better than what it is at the moment. Because I'm not sure if you've seen our current scoreboard.
Yeah,
there's a lot to be desired there.
The old change it like manually, and all of that.
Exactly.
Maybe we can move that to pitch 2 or pitch 3. You can't just totally throw those iconic relics of the past just like that. Maybe we can move it to pitch 2, and that'll be great. But maybe Vukovar could use it possibly. I noticed you've got the Vukovar jumper, and I'm told you're one of the original founding members of Vukovar. You must have loved that interview with Marty and ILIJA.
It was fantastic. Good bunch of boys, yeah.
Oh, mate, great to see a smile on your face, Ante. It's fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us on the show tonight. Really appreciate gaining an insight into what is happening behind the scenes, and fantastic things await us all here at Churchill Reserve.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Tonchi.
Good on you. Ante Rosanic, absolute legend of a bloke who does so much behind the scenes at the club. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, it is going to be time for the unveiling, or the world premiere, if you like, of Ante Smolic's new song dedicated to St Albans Dinamo, to the tune of Oliver Dragojevic's classic Što to bješe ljubav, or translated, What is Love About? And that brings us to the end of the show. And with that, we're going to go out with Ante Smolic's song to the tune of Što to bješe ljubav by Oliver Dragojevic. Good night, and thank you for being with us here on Dinamo TV. We look forward to your company next week on Thursday night at 8 p.m.
Who likes a bit of Oliver Dragojevic? Not Oliver Dragicevic, Oliver Dragojevic. Okay, let me get into character. Check it. I need my sheet music because I can't play the piano if I don't have my notes in front of me.